Yo, what's happening? It's Chase. So we're going to get right into it today. We're talking Bitcoin, we're talking Ethereum, we're going to talk about some trade ideas. I feel like I'm fairly high confidence about what could occur here. We're going to talk about all that. Not sure about the discussion. We'll sort of go off the top, see what see what manifests itself. Before we get into everything, big shout out to Prime XBT for sponsoring these videos. You know the deal. My links are at the bottom. No KYC, you get a deposit bonus. Give them a try. Okay. Let's talk Bitcoin first. I don't know. It has to be like a week now. I think a week ago, back when we were at 52K-ish, I was targeting this area up here. I think anyone who has been shorting, any of this, any wide short stops are going to be above these highs. I want to see these highs taken out. Okay, so if these highs are taken out, here's what I'll be watching. Typically you'll see a push in. You'll get a wick, some type of wick here, and that should tell you that short stops are being taken. A little bit of a impulse move upwards. At that point, your highest risk reward play is simply blind short from the area and hope that it retraces quickly. But there are times where you also have, you can do the retest, but then it also comes up for a second shot to take out the first short stops, and then it comes down. Okay, so what I would say here is, if you're looking to short this area, you either play it with a little bit of a wider stop, and your target is simply below this dotted line, right? So can we get a good risk reward here? Let's look at that first. Let's go up a little bit. We think that stop should trigger, right? Maybe we get a little bit above 60. Maybe we go 60.4 or something like that. Okay. We can get our stop like in here, and right into here we can get about a 2.5 to a 3 risk reward. So that's typically a good trade, right? We're typically aiming for around a 2.5 or a 3. So I think there is a potential here. When it comes to shorting, it's hard to recommend when we're trending quite bullish. So quote unquote for your more experienced users only, I would say. But there's multiple things to watch for, right? You can go half and half. We've talked about that. Half on the entry, half on, confirmation of some type of a breakdown. But again, could go once, could run the stops again. Maybe at that point you get a bearish divergence, which would be, higher high on the price, but your RSI is doing this, right? It's doing a peak and then a lower, okay? So then right there you'd have a bearish divergence on a double stop run, okay? Initial stop run one time right here, and then we come up again a second time right here to run the stops of anyone who tried to play a really tight position, right? Because some people will try to play a really tight position. They'll say, okay, liquidity ran, let me put my stop right here, and sometimes it comes up and gets that, and then you go down, okay? So a lot of scenarios in there. Hopefully that explanation is helpful. Unfortunately, anyone who pretends who knows exactly what's going to happen ahead of time is usually, fabricating or whatever you want to say. I mean, there's been times where I've, perfectly predicted things, but point being is, you have to be ready for multiple scenarios. That's all. And you have to have a balanced approach, right? If you're looking for 20 risk reward because you're going to play the tightest stop once it retests, okay, I'm playing the tightest stop right there, boom, you might get wicked out, but your trade would still go, right? So that's why I say, I'm typically aiming for that 2 to 3 risk reward. I'm not looking for anything special. I'm not looking for 10. Most of the time I'm not looking for 6. Anywhere between 2, 4, 5 is really nice. Okay, that's what I'm typically aiming for. All right, so how do I see this going though? Yeah, I see some type of a stop run into here. Since 52K, like I said, since 52K, I called for these highs to be ran. So I'm still looking for that. It's still what I'm looking for. I'm still sticking to my plan. Back when I was less experienced a couple years ago, all this chop in here would deviate me from my plan, and I'd say, but it's, in my opinion, nothing has changed. Just chop, right? There was this move up, everyone was super bullish. There was this move down. Oh my God, we're going back down. Like, nothing, in my opinion, in here, nothing has happened. It's just bullish consolidation, and we're leading towards the stops, just like I thought in the beginning since 52K. Been calling it, and then I said we go down and we run all these stops down here, and that's going to be the buy op that we'll talking about in a second. And then I think we go to all-time highs. That's what I'm planning for. Okay, so let's say we do this and we break down. Okay, so we break down. What are we looking for? In my opinion, we're looking for all this liquidity to be ran here, all these lows. Okay, so we're gonna hit all these lows. In a just blind buy scenario, I'm looking around 51.2 to 51.5K. 51.8K, anywhere right in here makes a lot of sense to me. We can simply see the confluence of the level. Okay. Now there will be a scenario, right? Now let's say market is too bullish. Okay. Sometimes this happens where, you just know that the market's very bullish and people are front running. When I say you, I mean everybody, so to say. When the market is very bullish overall and people are front running, you might get something like this. You might get your push into here, you might get your wick, but it might not go all the way down to the level that everybody wants to buy, right? It may just run these lows nice and close, reclaim, and then it might go. So that's a potential long opportunity, right? So let's talk through these, right? Let's say we run the low. Okay, you could buy the retest, stop below the low. Okay, let's say... Okay, and we're good. Say it goes to all-time high. Cool, great profit, right? But let's say instead it goes up, it taps this. Once again, we enter here, stop below the low, and then it actually comes back down, wicks you out, and then you can look for this level to then be your entry, stop below this low, okay? So once again, playing the market, maneuvering, you have to be ready for multiple scenarios, and unfortunately sometimes you are going to catch a stop out before you get into the actual trade, or you could simply play with a wider stop as we discussed, okay? And then you don't have to worry about obviously your risk reward is most likely going to be less, and you may ask, why are you talking about a more greedy setup on the bullish side? Well, because in my opinion, this level is much more likely to prove as support, and you could probably play this fairly a bit more aggressive than on this side. I'm not exactly sure where it may deviate to, or as it runs the stops, it's running liquidity, where it deviates to, and if it goes for a second push at it, etc. But down here, I'm fairly certain that bulls are going to want to buy near this level almost no matter what. So I may be a little bit more greedy on this side than I'm going to be on the short side. Okay? And those are the two plans currently for Bitcoin. Looking for the shorts in this area, looking for the longs in this area. We have good levels to work with, right? We have, I'll tell you why this level here, we have resistance, okay? Proved as resistance, comes up, sort of serves as resistance here. Deviation, right? Deviation in this level here. And then as it breaks through, sort of origin of the down move right here. And then it turns into origin of this up impulse move. So if price was to come back down, we would expect that this area right here should serve as support once again, since it caused the impulse move upwards. Okay. Hopefully that all makes sense. Again, looking for shorts in here, looking for longs anywhere in here, depending on how it plays. Maybe it just runs it a little bit. Maybe it goes down and touches the level all the way. That's, my optimal scenario for blind bids, looking at 51.2 to 51.6ish, somewhere right in this consolidation area right here. Okay. Otherwise, you got to be watch, and you could just do that little liquidity run and it could bounce, and that could be it. But really have to let the market show us what the opportunity is and then adjust to that, unless it hits the exact level that we want and have prepared ahead of time, where we think bulls are really going to step up. Okay, 1 second, we'll move on to ETH. Okay, looking at Ethereum. So Ethereum, fairly simple. I like this break of the downtrend right here. I do think that these lows are going to hold. I'm on like a half risk long at the moment because it's not exactly, it's somewhat of a deviation of my plan, but yeah, I do think it's good at the same time. So I think we either, you could retest this perhaps, this consolidation, that's provided this break of the downtrend right here. You could retest that, but I think you might just come into here and go straight up towards like 38.30, 38.60. So that's where I'm looking to take profit on a little half risk long. Nothing special. Okay, from this point, ETH not as clear to me what it may do as BTC, but I do know if ETH nukes, and this is one of my favorite setups, often you build up this liquidity on the downside, right? So you got lows, 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 all this built up liquidity, and let's say we go up to here and BTC does the move that I talked about, going from here to here, then ETH, I would expect, goes from here and runs all those lows. And where are we buying? We're buying this previous level. Look, resistance, resistance, powers through the resistance and never retests the level. We never get a retest, right? Sorry for the terrible circles. We never get a retest of that level once we break through. So if price does come down, this is my level, right around 31.50, 31.70. You might have to front run a little bit, especially on ETH. It might hit like 32.15. It might be 31.50, right around here. Okay, this is my buying area, and that's where I'll be watching for ETH. And yeah, so those are my 3 trade scenarios for right now. We have the Bitcoin short idea, we have the Bitcoin long idea, and we have the Ethereum long idea. And those are the levels. We're watching this area. We're watching 51.2 to 51.6, 51.8, right in this consolidation right here. And we're watching, potentially a short-term little void fill right in here, right? May fill this void on a little long into here, something like this, and then hopefully wipe out all these stops, old resistance, flips into support here, and then that's our, at least retest of highs or, somewhere around this area right here, or even all-time highs. Okay, discussion portion, let's think. I don't think too much needs to be said this week. I guess I'll say one thing. I've noticed recently that my feed hasn't been providing much value, sort of as I talked about with the bullish consolidation in here, right? I saw a crazy amount of just euphoria and bearishness all in this tiny little block, and I literally didn't understand it whatsoever. I'm like, why? I mean, I get it. I guess people are just bored and they want something to talk about. So, this move right here turns into like some type of a huge bearish propaganda spreading around. I didn't understand that whatsoever. Even when we were down here, I was thinking, that my plan is still in play here. We're still bullish consolidation. I'm still calling from 52 to 59.5. Take these short stops. Nothing's changed. And unless we sweep this low first, then something has changed in my opinion. But otherwise, I still think we're going there, and then I think we're going there, and then I think we're going up. But yeah, I guess the point is that if you feel like your feed is not providing you a good amount of content, just take a little break. You don't need to look at it every single day. You don't need to constantly refer to it. Refer to your own analysis first. Your own analysis over time is going to prove as the only way to be really successful, right? Can't really copy trade to success. You can't really copy analyze to success. You can learn from these videos and you can learn from a bunch of different people, but at the end of the day, it's really going to be up to you to mark out your charts and get your feel of the market. That's definitely how I see it. So yeah, if like I said, if things feel over euphoric or over bearish, or people are just being overzealous in the middle of chop, if you want to come on and shitpost, that's fine. It's fun sometimes, right? I'm definitely not the biggest shit poster, but I'll come on and fuck around on occasion. But it's not necessary to constantly engage. If you feel like there's not much to engage about, or if you're just waiting for your plan to play out, because the more you look at other people's analysis and the more you see people reacting to different things occurring in the market, the more you're going to deviate from your original plan. Just take me for example. I've been waiting from 52 to 59.5. Like I said, short stop liquidity. I've been constantly waiting for it. But if I go on and all I'm reading about is, oh, now we're going back down to 51. Oh, now we're going to new all-time highs. Like, it's just not going to do me any good. So a lot of noise around not much price movement. It's just not for me. Just chilling a little bit, taking a step back, and that's it. Focus on your own game, focus on your own analysis and your own trades. Okay. As always, thank you guys for chilling with me. Big shout out to Prime XBT as always for sponsoring these videos. They're the ones who make them free. Show them some love. Try out the links at the bottom if you've never tried them out before. And that's about it. I'll catch you guys on next week's. Thank you and goodbye.